This episode on sailing Popao.
No such thing as too easy on a boat. I'm going to run 2 thicker cables to here, have them fused. So that's all the wire that I've managed to eliminate now.
You've got the B&G hat on today, Michael.
I've got my little clip here so it doesn't fall off, just in case.
B&G installation, what's happening?
B&G hooked us up with the latest and greatest, and they wanted us to try out the new plotter, so if we have to.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah.
And what else is happening inside, Michael?
Oh, we've got another big, massive plotter going in there. New radio, new radar, got all the toys coming. So yeah, super excited. Thank you, B&G. We're putting the new Zeus 3 S's in, so faster processor. But should be a straight swap, hopefully. I'm just going to take it out. Yeah, so we'll install one of the new 3S's, and then we'll compare it to the old 3 and see the difference. Ooh, look at that, like a glove.
Too easy. Where's the catch?
I never liked too easy. No such thing as too easy on a boat.
What's that?
CMAP reveal charts from here to Victoria Harbour to Wesley Islands.
We're all set up.
Okay, so this is the new 3S, and this is the old 3, Zeus 3, and this has got the new CMAP reveal mega chart. But
oh my gosh, that is so quick. Yeah, that's crazy.
see the lag difference.
With the interior of the boat looking pretty damn good, it was time to give our table a bit of TLC. Using a heat gun and scraper, Marco removed all the old varnish, and to get the chips and divots out, he then gave it a really good sand with 120 grit sandpaper on the orbital. To prep for painting, it got a good wipe down with acetone before staining with a walnut colour and several coats of tongue oil.
So our mate Ray from Brushbox Pty Ltd, I was asking him a question about the mount we had to build for our new 16-inch plotter that's going to go behind the lounge. It was too low, so he said, oh, just give me the dimensions, I'll knock it up. And he just had a piece of old, what is this, spotted gum.
Yep.
And he's knocked it up for us. Fits perfect. So I'm just going to stain it to match the table. We won't really see much of it anyway because it's hidden behind the lounge, but thanks, Ray. Yeah, one step closer to having the cinema behind our heads there.
Yeah.
16-inch.
I think you'll see it.
Yeah, you'll see it a little bit.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's good. So good.
So satisfying.
So hard, this timber.
It's heavy too.
Yeah, it's a solid base for a solid big sounder plotter. Everything. Television.
Beautiful.
So we'll just stain it and then seal it like the table with the tongue oil. So the tables have 2 coats of tongue oil now. We'll probably do, what, 4 you reckon?
I think 4 was the standard.
4 for a chopping board, so for a table that should be enough.
That's a lot of days not using my table.
Yeah.
My office is out of action.
Apparently the beauty with oiling versus the old varnish is you don't need to sand it all the way back just to touch it up. You can just re-oil it. So, hopefully. I guess we want it as dark as possible, eh? So it matches the dark kind of... Oh, how good does that look?
Yeah, it looks profesh.
So I've got some stainless bolts there. And I've got the hole saw and drilled through this. And there's a bulkhead there as well. It's just totally not needed, but there just happens to be one there. And it all just fit perfectly.
It's going to collapse.
But this thing's like, the whole boat will break around this mount.
It's solid. That weighs about 1 kilo, that mount.
Yeah, it's heavy hardwood. But yes, super happy with how that came out.
So can we plug our laptop in and watch movies on this?
I don't know, it has HDMI in the back and USB. We could watch something on it. It'd be interesting to see what the story is. That would be hilarious.
How's the chart plotter, guys? Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
60 days in looks amazing.
So good. Moment of thinking. Drop cable down to the T.
He's still thinking. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to find a weather window for us to go south. That is just a little bit too windy for our likings to sail in. It's looking pretty colourful out there at the moment.
No good.
Well, that's Saturday and it's like 30 knots. Gusts. Strong northerly.
Well, there we go. Far out, that looks so good. It's massive. It's bloody huge.
Ridiculous.
It'll be so good. See you later, iPad. Can I get the cables in? Probably should do that first, like you said.
Well, this is like our passage home, really.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, unless we're outside, up the front, we sit in here on this lounge because it's got the best view. Whereas out here is good for controlling the autopilot and everything, but we just don't have as good a view as we do sitting inside, so it's actually much safer in here.
So now, what I'm doing is tidying all of this up now that I can. I'm running all the port side instruments or electronics like the fridge, the freezer, port bilge, water pump, etc. Instead of running everything to here and just kind of making a big cluster and the voltage drop that we were getting from running that whole distance, I'm going to run 2 thicker cables to here, have them fused, and then eliminate all those different runs going from that battery along here into here. And I'm using this safety hub finally again, but it's going to be mounted there, and everything, instead of running that whole 4 or 5 meter distance, it'll run from the instruments straight to here via these thicker cables. Eliminate 10 wires running there and just have 2 running over there. Okay, so a big day, but it's pretty much all routed. So that's all the wire that I've managed to eliminate now. Whole lot of voltage drop in there.
Popao's shredding, losing weight.
But
Should go faster now.
we've shredded all the wires, but I'm not going to throw them out. I'm going to put them in my little spares kit.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Oh wow.
It is rock, I can't believe it. Okay, well, couple of very busy days on board of wiring. I wired this up all the way down. I've installed a gas monitor in the port and starboard hulls, and this is the completed port bus. Very tidy, I must say so myself. And the most exciting thing is turning this thing on for the first time. No, English UK, please.
That's so good.
I'll have a go at
You
it.
can read it a mile away.
So
And the
good.
best thing is we realised we can see it from the step out there as well.
That's why I liked it where it was, because you can see it when you're driving on
Yeah.
the port side.
That is amazing. It is so easy to see. That is so cool. Wow. Should we watch a movie?
Look at it. So good.
And we'll get to try that out this weekend too. That's the best
Just
part.
scroll.
Fat hand. Oh, what's that? Ooh.
Man, oh man, that is so good. Look how fast it is too.
Really fast.
And then look at this stuff. This CMAP reveal chart, that's just the tits.
That's ridiculous.
Anyway,
What about JB? Because we're going there next week.
Jervis Bay.
Yeah.
Hoi, hoi, hoi.
So fast. Wow. That's so cool. I mean, the other one does that too, but it's just so much easier to see.
Start it up.
So we've just picked up 88 meters of this CMP Titan chain, 8mm short link, 125 kilos. It's about 25 meters or 28 meters more than we need, or than we wanted. So we're going to just see if it fits the Gypsy, make sure, and then we'll cut the rest. Just put it on Marketplace or something. But yeah, we just backed the car down to the trailer, down to the boat ramp, and put the wheels up, and we'll just load it into the back and push her off. Sound like a plan? Hopefully. Hopefully that'll work.
Hopefully it won't be too heavy. Look how shiny and new it is. Ooh! I thought the same thing. That's probably just shows you how stretched ours is. And hopefully we'll beat this storm. We've had so many bad storms the last few days. It's literally working between storm fronts. So anyway. Okay, this is the weirdest weather. Sun is out. I've checked the rain radar. It doesn't look like we've got rain for a while. However, the sky would tell you otherwise. It's ready to pick down again. So I'm gonna get just tie the tender up nice and tightly against the bow. Drop the anchor in, disconnect that, feed all the chain out into that tub. So I'm gonna take all that chain out in a second. And then we will feed the new chain in, get that into the locker, and then we'll worry about the anchor probably after the next storm.
After almost a year of trying to solve the mystery missing split pin, I think I found it. I saw the head of like a clevis pin, that's what it is, a mini one. So I don't know what that's from. No luck with the origin of the split pin. It all looks good up here. So I don't know. Mystery. So I just took the snubber off and the little clevis pin fell out. And look at that. No split pin. Almost a year.
What do you call it? It's not a split pin, is it?
That's a clevis pin, but the little split pin that was in there, I'm assuming,
it was like an end
came out. So I just said, oh, you should put this on just as a backup, you know, so we got a bit of slack, and then I lifted it and,
dropped the anchor.
And the pin just fell out. So there you go.
Mystery solved. Only took what, a year and a half? Alright, we've had an additional item added to the to-do list. Well,
it's always the way. You do one job and you get rewarded with two more.
So we have been planning to do this job on our annual maintenance list, which I was going to do at the end of our refit, but we figured it's probably just a good idea to do it now while we've got the anchor chain and anchor off and everything, and on a mooring, because you need that. So basically every year Michael just takes the anchor winch apart, cleans it, greases it, puts it back together, right?
Yep.
And this is why, because if you leave it too long, it seizes up. All that dirt and gunk and salt that you are pulling up every time you pull the chain up, that's just going into the locker. Not that bad? Not bad for what, a year and a half?
Yeah, you're meant to do it once a year.
Yeah, which no one ever does.
Well,
not many people do it, I don't think.
The old binless now, this one. discontinued. So
we should have replaced the whole lot when we bought the boat, really.
Yeah.
We bought bits.
We bought bits and a new gearbox, and then a new motor.
Yeah, we basically bought 2/3 of a new windlass.
Yeah,
of an old one.
When we should have just bought a brand new one.
Yeah, but you know.
I say, poor man pays twice.
Yeah, we fixed one bit, and then once we got that working, we realised that the other bit wasn't working. So, a bit of a pain, because if we knew that from the start, we would have just obviously bought a brand new one.
So, keys in there too, but remember, you can see the gunk that builds up in there. Look at the hole down there.
Oh. Yeah, that's real dirty. All those muddy quagmires we've anchored in.
Cairns River, bit of Cairns River in there.
Good old days.
Sandy Straits, bit of Morton muck. It's all in there. That's all the mud and gunk that came out of the winch, grease and mud. That's what, a year's worth?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, I think every 6 months would be better than every year.
Yeah.
Depending on where we anchor. Like,
I think if you leave it on a mooring a lot longer than like this, which hopefully we never will do again, probably service it before we put it away, you know.
Well, also just depending on where you go, like,
Yeah.
remember some of those spots in the Whitsundays and Cairns River? The chain just looks like a big brown cable.
Alright, Michael's got the winch back together. Just bringing the tender back around. We had to move it for that squall we had before. And do it all again, but backwards.
Okay, so one of the jobs that's been on the to-do list for a long time since our tiller pin has snapped is replace this fridge hinge jerry rig that I did and put a new pin on. So the pin snapped. The frickin' mounting pin that was on the tiller snapped. Be able to jerry rig something, I reckon. Or the spare hinges from our fridge. And I didn't want to weld it on, so what I've done is Phil has kindly let me into Damo's workshop here at Dolan's Bay Marina, and I've drilled a hole. We've done a few test pieces and, you know, tried tapping and dyeing and stuff. So what I've done is got this tiller pin and we've put a thread on it, and we've also drilled a hole here with a matching thread. Almost at the fat bit of it, and I've just tested it and it actually fits nice and snug. So what I'm going to do is just continue the thread all the way down this pin, and then I'll go measure it up on the boat and cut off the excess, and we should be good. And I'll have a nut on the top here to back against it, which will give it a bit more stability. But yeah, it's very handy to be able to use the workshop, so thanks Phil, and thank you Damo, who's on holidays. And yeah, see how we go. Cutting compound on here to make it a bit easier. And it's actually cutting a lot easier than I thought once you put the dye on the right way. But just working it back and forth seemed to cut a nice thread. So I basically just turn it till it gets tight and then back it off a bit and carry on. Couple of degrees at a time, and just cuts its way down, gets rid of all the excess. Okay, so I have tapped this whole pin, put a thread on it. This is the tiller bit that we drilled here, and let's just make sure that it fits. Some idea is to screw it in to the right depth. Hopefully it goes in, and then I'll just put it on the boat and then put it in the right position, screw it up into the tiller arm, and I'll just mark it and I'll cut the excess off underneath. A bit easier than welding for me anyway. First time I've ever really tapped or used dye, so there we go. So I am back on the boat. I've put this tiller arm back on, I suppose, and I have to say, pretty good. So I'm just going to get the correct height now. But all in all, very happy with how it's come out so far. So there it is there, nice and flush. And I'm going to put this 9-lock nut on top, and I'll just wind that against the metal, and hopefully that will lock it in. I'll put some Loctite on the thread first, and then hopefully the pressure of this working against that surface will hold it in place. I may put a bit of, I don't need Loctite on here, but I might put a little bit of Gorilla Glue or something, I don't know. Anyway, not a bad day's work. And I've given this a bit of a polish up. Look at that. Like a bloody brand new one.
Can you explain how this tiller works to people that haven't seen it?
So we've got a little pin in the deck here, right there, which is actually from the old tiller, which is must be a standard part. We've got our new Simrad TP32, goes in there, and then this bit clips onto that little ball, and it's got a little compass in there, and it'll talk to the plotters, and yeah, it just pulls the hydraulic arm in and out, and it pulls the tillers, thus steering the boat. So we've got two rudders here, and they run independent of each other, and then they are in unison once this rudder, I guess tiller bar or whatever, joins them together.
So that runs across to the other one. It's pretty basic stuff, really.
Yeah.
Which is good. Basic is better.
Everything in the ocean is better when it's simple, I reckon.
So we are hoping to get down to JB next week. So we're trying to get everything ready. I am currently working on the next few videos.
Well, all done. Oh, the light's gone off. But pretty happy with this little piece of equipment. Polished up. Took me a while to find a nut with the right thread. Apparently M7, not very common. So I don't know why they made the die set in that size with a smaller fine thread. So I went to the stainless shop and bought a special nut for it and some proper Loctite. But anyway, all done, and I'm very happy with it.
With our lockdown refit complete, we figured it would be a great time to show you the boat. So join us next episode for a full tour of Popao and all our upgrades. G'day everyone.
G'day guys, thank you so much for all your support. We've been overwhelmed with the amount of orders we've got on the merch.
Yeah, if you haven't already got some, head on over to sailingpopao.com to check it out.
Also, just wanted to say another huge thank you to all our patrons out there. Your support is amazing.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and see you on the next one.
See you next episode.
And then Jess is like, what's that smell? We had the breast raise on, I couldn't smell anything, and the vacuum was about to go on fire, so.
It was staying.
So it was just like, just please let us finish.